The following is a 62 CBS Sports Special presentation. Detroit 62 CBS, Big Time TV. Now, Detroit 62 CBS, your place for big time sports events, brings you a 62 CBS Spartan Final Four special. All the slams, the jams, and the fans. Hear from the players and coaches as they preview their Final Four matchup. Now, from Indianapolis, your host, Mark Wilson.
Good evening once again, everyone, and welcome to our big Spartan Final Four special on Detroit 62 CBS. I'm Mark Wilson. Glad you could be with us for the next half hour. Should be fun. And we're coming to you tonight from the brand new NCAA Hall of Champions here in Indianapolis, Indiana, just a free throw shot away from the RCA Dome, where tomorrow night Michigan State University will attempt to finish what it started and win their first national championship since Magic Johnson, Greg Kelser, Jud Heathcote were doing their thing back in 1979. The opponent will be Dick Bennett's Wisconsin Badgers, a tough defensive team that Michigan State has already beaten 3 times this year. And in the other national semifinal game, of course, it'll be North Carolina against the University of Florida Gators, led by Billy Donovan. We'll show you much more about this building. We'll talk to some of the Spartan moms. We'll even hear from Jud Heathcote. But first, the task at hand, and that is the University of Wisconsin. The Spartans have to get past Wisconsin to get to that title game on Monday night. Very difficult, tough task, as you know. Playing a team 4 times in 1 year, especially one from your own conference, one that plays the kind of defense that Wisconsin does, nobody knows that better than Tom Izzo and the Spartans. And we start with the Spartans' All-American point guard, Mateen Cleaves.
If you can look past Wisconsin right now, there's something wrong with you. You know, they're playing a lot better than they played at the beginning of the year. You know, and they're gonna go out. We know what type of game it's gonna be. It's gonna be a tough, hard game. You know, we're gonna have to get our hands up on their threes, and we know they're gonna check us. You know, so we can't get caught up and trying to look past them.
We've done a great job of taking each game one by one, and we've done it all year long. Even the Wright State loss, we really took them seriously. And I think that's been a big key to this team. We respect every team. And we definitely have to respect them.
It's hard to play for one team 4 times and win 4 times. Right now, we just got to do what Michigan State knows how to do, and I think that'll take care of itself.
What's to say you shouldn't win a 4th time here?
No, we can't go out there and be big-headed like that, because Wisconsin's a great team. They beat some great teams along the way in the tournament, and they got better during the year, and they playing great ball right now, so we just got to go out there and play them tough.
Pete called it. You know, he said, watch Wisconsin, you know, because he saw the bracket they're in. He said, you know, the way they play, you know, they could be getting to the Final Four, you know, and Pete called it at the beginning, you know, when it came out.
We're not looking ahead right now. I mean, the only thing right now in our mind is, you know, beat Wisconsin.
Oh, sure.
I mean, that's the approach you got, one game at a time.
Sure, okay. I believe that.
Yeah, I know.
You know, that Charlie Bell is always so calm, cool, collected. I don't know how he does it, but he'll be one of those guys that Tom Izzo and the Spartans relies on heavily tomorrow night. You know, Wisconsin has gotten so much better in the last couple of weeks. You don't get to the Final Four if you haven't gotten a little bit better. John Bryant, Mark Vershaw are playing some pretty good basketball right now. But let's not forget, in the 3 games the Spartans beat the Badgers this year, they outscored them by an average of 10 points a game, out-rebounded them by an average of 9 boards a game. I do believe that Dick Bennett has his work cut out for him tomorrow night at the RCA Dome.
I think we have the toughest opponent in America, because I think Michigan State, by my own definition, which is not everybody's definition, is the most complete team in America. And we have done the best we can against them on a number of occasions, but we still have not been able to solve all of the problems that they present.
People say it's really hard to beat a team 3 times, and it'll beat a team 4 times in a row. I think, you know, it's tough. We've shown that we can play with them in these last 2 games. Obviously, they had a big lead in the second half in our 3rd game, but we show we can come back. So they're thinking in their heads that it might be tough to beat us 4 times.
I think it's tough when you have a team that has a lot of different options, which Michigan State does. You know, especially when you have a strong leader like Mateen, who's able to take over a game and really control the tempo. He sets up all the other players very well, whether it's Granger, or Peterson, or Bell, or Hudson. I mean, they just have a lot of options to go to. And so it's difficult because you can't just worry about one of them. You have to worry about them all.
I don't know about you at home, but I just can't get past the idea that Wisconsin lost 13 times this year. I'll have to get over it pretty fast. Here's a guy who can get over it, a guy you'll see working tomorrow night. It's CBS analyst and former Ohio State star Clark Kellogg. And Clark, you know the Big Ten. What about Michigan State and Wisconsin? Can the Spartans actually beat the Badgers 4 times in one season?
Oh, I certainly think so. They're very similar to Wisconsin in what they do defensively and how physical they play the game. And you look at their personnel, it's an experienced group, much like Wisconsin is. And with that experience comes physical and mental maturity. But I think Michigan State has a little more firepower at the offensive end. And because of that, the leadership of Cleaves, the explosiveness of their team from an offensive standpoint, I think they've got enough ammunition to beat a very, very good Wisconsin team.
Clark, as you know, the Spartans have had to come back from rather large deficits twice in this tournament. Does that show a mental toughness that a lot of other teams don't possess?
One of the things I said about Michigan State from day one is that of all the teams out there, they could win in more ways than anybody else. That points to their versatility, it points to their leadership, it points to their toughness, it points to coaching. I mean, all of the ingredients you talk about needing to be a championship team, they have them, and they've proven it. I mean, coming back when you're trailing is not easy when you're a favorite. I mean, the pressure grows as the game moves towards being over and you're not on top on the scoreboard when you're the favorite. And they've shown the ability to handle that. And they're a very, very impressive team and seem to be, I've not been around them a lot, but they seem to be very solid, even-keeled young men as well.
All right, thanks, Clark. Clark Kellogg, a guy you'll see working on Detroit 62 CBS tomorrow night. And now Jud Heathcote, the former coach of the Spartans, the guy who coached them to a national championship 21 years ago. He makes a lot of the road trips. He wouldn't miss this for the world. And if you don't think Jud Heathcote is still a Spartan and still very much into it, you'd be sorely mistaken. We had a chance to talk with Jud about this weekend's matchup.
I remember in '78 why we played Indiana 3 times, and we're lucky enough to win all 3, but now 4 times, that's unheard of. And, you know, that's tough.
What about the job that Tom Izzo's done? Did you think that success for him would come this fast?
I knew that he would do an excellent job in the program. An excellent job in the Big Ten is to win a Big Ten title now and then, because it's cyclical and every team kind of rises one year depending on the players that stay or move on to the pros. But to win 3 titles, to go to 2 consecutive Final Fours, he has the Michigan State program up where, you know, I wished that I could have put it there but never did. And now, why, it's one of the elite programs in the country. It's, you can compare it to North Carolina, Kentucky, UCLA, the top programs that have been there, the North Carolinas, Dukes, for years.
The always affable Jud Heathcote. And much more to come on our Spartan Final Four special from the NCAA Hall of Champions here in Indianapolis, including the Spartan moms. Yes, 2 of them in particular, Frances Cleaves and Val Peterson. You do not want to miss this. They know their kids, and they know basketball. It's next on Detroit.
This 62 CBS Spartan Final Four special is sponsored in part by your 31 Metro Detroit Ford dealers, Tony V's Sunrooms and Spas, and by Subway. Detroit 62 CBS, Big Time TV.
Mateen Cleaves, Morris Peterson, A.J. Granger, the 3 seniors, still have a dream alive.
Extra, extra. Read all about it. Yeah, they had those papers waving at the end of that Iowa State game, knowing full well at that point the Spartans were heading to Indianapolis. Back on our Final Four special on Detroit 62 CBS, I am in the tailgate section now of the NCAA Hall of Champions here in Indy. This guy's making me very, very hungry. But a couple of people will be more than happy to feed you. Val Peterson and Fran Cleaves, the 2 Spartan moms. Bittersweet week for them because of the passing of Valerie's mother, Morris's grandmother. Morris went to the funeral this week in Mississippi, but we still made it up to Flint Town to check on 2 Spartan moms who love their sons and know how important a national championship would be to them.
It's the same play they ran earlier. Turn the corner and look. Nice back. Cleaves, alley-oop.
If that isn't vintage Cleaves and Peterson, nothing is. The alley-oop, a la Magic and Kelser 21 years ago. But the bond between Morris and Mateen is stronger than Irvin and Special K. And family is a key reason. The moms are just as close. Frances Cleaves, Valerie Peterson, as good a 1-2 Spartan punch as their sons.
We know that we're the 6th man. And you ask about sending energy and so forth. We really believe that with all our heart.
And heart is a prevailing theme on this MSU team. You see it from Val Peterson and you see it from Mateen. The 2 moms believe they can focus and will their Spartans to victory.
We meditate a lot, and if you ever see us like this or this or this, you know, we're sending them a signal from within, and this.
When Morris hit the 2 free throws against Iowa State, do you remember what you said?
Yes, I do.
Because it got you on national television. Do you remember what you did?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you, Jesus. Absolutely.
I see him at the beginning of the game. You know, make sure my mom's there, my brothers and my sisters and my father.
That clan has a raucous good time when things are good. They have a routine, an outfit, and Fran Cleaves even has a special manicure. Look at these green and white nails. I love the nails.
And they're lucky.
They're lucky nails.
I shouldn't be telling all these other teams
No,
our
Oh,
secrets.
don't, you know what, I won't show them. They'll never know.
Oh, you can show them. It's okay.
And when times are bad, the families rally more, like when Valerie's mother, Morris's grandma, passed away the day of the Iowa State game. Morris wasn't told until after the win.
It hurt me, just finding out because she was a wonderful woman, and I was kind of, I was real close to her, and but I know, she's down here looking at me and watching over me.
He told me that he was going to dedicate the game to her, and that we're going to win it. So I really believe that they are going to win it because I think that it motivated him more to play since she's not going to be there.
That's a tough situation, and if he need the help, or I'll be in his corner if he need anything.
Make no mistake, the 2 senior moms are intensely proud of their kids.
Nobody wants to talk about Boy Scouts and church and the youth groups that he participated in. He does a free basketball camp. You know who your child is. And sometimes some of the things that I read, I wonder, who is this that they're talking? This is not my son.
Mateen and Morris are roommates, born just 12 days apart in 1977. They also have another thing in common, their disdain for a broom and a wastebasket.
We can't even call them the odd couple because they both Oscar.
And I get a high five on that.
Oh, and for those that can never get Mateen's name right, it is Mateen. Ma Cleaves says, no problem.
Sometimes I've gotten on him because he'll say, this is, he'll be on the phone talking to somebody and he'll say, this is mine teen. I said, you better get that right, buddy.
What will Fran and Valerie do once this thing is all over and the guys head their separate ways into the NBA?
I know I'm not going to be with them.
No, you
I
don't.
hope that
They're going
we-
to take 2 of us together.
Okay, if they take
First
us
time.
together. For the first time. Did you hear that?
It's not about the money. It's about, I'm going to play in the NBA.
See, to me it'd be about the money.
Yeah.
To me it'd be about the money.
But with him, it's
I'd go
not.
for the cash there.
It's not.
For right now, the NBA is miles away. One more weekend remains. 2 games for a national championship, and that means a whole lot more hugging. Hugs are us with Fran Cleaves and Val Peterson.
All the mothers that come on the games, they all get hugs, or we're getting hunted down, and
we're not afraid, to give each other hugs. Even if you don't know them, I think that's just how our team is. We just like to give everybody a hug.
And if they beat Wisconsin tomorrow, there is a new routine for Monday night. Just don't be late, ladies.
They won't be late for this one, though. I mean, this the real deal. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. They'll be up there.
Yeah, we got to rock.
So I can do that too, huh?
Yeah, you can rock.
And you have everybody doing it, right?
Yeah.
See, I'm into that. I'm in the groove. Couple of wonderful moms, couple of special people right there, and I do feel like rocking with them tomorrow during the game on Detroit 62 CBS. Coming up next, Tom Izzo, Spartan head coach. Final thoughts on Wisconsin as our Final Four special rolls on from the NCAA Hall of Champions here in Indy. Don't go anywhere.
This 62 CBS Spartan Final Four special will return right after this. Detroit 62 CBS, Big Time TV. This 62 CBS Spartan Final Four special is sponsored in part by Dodge, Different, Christopher Varjabedian, attorney at law, and by Mr. B's Roadhouse in Clarkston. Detroit 62 CBS, Big Time TV.
Michigan State will advance to Indianapolis. They will take on Wisconsin for the 4th time this year.
Back at our Final Four special with the head coach of the Spartans once again, Tom Izzo. And Tom, you're kind of the answer to a trivial question if you know now. Name the only guy in the universe who has finished 1 century in a Final Four and started another century in a Final Four. No one else can make that claim, at least for 100 years now, Tom.
Wow, only you, Mark, could come up with that.
Something as crazy as that.
If I can be famous in some way, I guess that's as good as any.
Did you think that would be possible? Really, the 2 Final Fours in a row, when you now think about it, here you are in this situation, and we know you dreamt it. We know you dream about a national championship and whatnot, but honestly.
Possible, yes. Probable, no. I would have to say I pinch myself every morning right now because I didn't think this was really possible to do in this time frame. And really, I didn't do it. The players did it, and they deserve the credit.
With Wisconsin, you know, many people would say, oh, it's hard to beat a team 4 times. I say, you've beaten a team 3 times. Why can't you just beat them a 4th time?
Well, that's why I like you better than I like the other people, but I think the other people got a legitimate point. You know, it is difficult to beat a team because you have to handle what everybody says. You have to handle that people have you as a favorite. You have to handle that people are saying, as you said, you beat them 3 times, why not one more time? But the other side of the coin is, you know, one of the odds against you, you know, you've beaten them 3 times, and so sooner or later they're going to beat you. And, you know, we're just going to have to deal with it and try to make it like, hey, this is the NCAA tournament. This is a whole new season. It might as well be next year, so we're 0-0.
Tom, is this the MO now? You get down early in games, just come back and, you know, whip them at the end?
Well, I hope it's not the MO. You know, it's a little bit more difficult on us to do that. But, you know, throughout the year, we've had some great starts and played well during the game. And I don't see why that shouldn't happen again. I just think the teams are getting better and better and better. And we've played some great teams. And consequently, when you have a little bit of a lull, great teams make it a 10-point spurt, where other teams maybe make it a 2 or 4 point spurt. And we've got to learn how to deal with that a little better and maybe make sure we don't get in those spurts.
I know that Morris is going to play this one for his grandmother who passed. Do you see this as a rallying point for the guys because of this is a bit of adversity that they all of a sudden are thrust upon them?
Well, I think the players understand that, you know, how important Morris's grandmother was to him. You know, a lot of people are close. Some people aren't close with your grandparents, especially when they live a distance. He was very close to his grandmother. And again, I think because of the relationship Morris has with the rest of the team, that everybody are going to want to rally around for him. You know, sometimes if you don't have that chemistry between players, then some players care, some don't. But after the game, everybody was really concerned about him, and so I think we'll play this for her, and we'll play this for them, and see what happens.
Final thing, can you now envision yourself up there, snip, cutting down the nets? Or I know, looking up at Mateen as he cuts down the nets. Can you now see that for Monday night?
Well, you know, if I had my dream for Monday night, it would
Let's hear it.
To hear the Mateen's favorite song since he came here has been the One Shining Moment that they play at the end. They play that at the end.
Written by a guy from Michigan.
Is it really? I didn't know that. But that was his dream every year, that he wanted to be part of those highlights and winning a national championship. So if I had a dream, it would be hearing that song and seeing us cutting down that final net as national champs.
All right, head coach Tom Izzo as Michigan State gets ready to take on Wisconsin in the Final Four. We're back with more on our big Final Four special on Detroit 62 CBS next.
This 62 CBS Spartan Final Four special will return right after this. Detroit 62 CBS, Big Time TV.
The NCAA Hall of Champions is officially open.
Back here at the NCAA Hall of Champions in Indy on our Final Four special, and this place is fantastic, superb, outstanding. Did I give you enough adjectives? Just open to the public this weekend, it is now becoming already the mecca for college sports fans. It has everything, including a chronological list of all the major happenings and events over the past century. If you're a college sports nut and you can't find it here, you ain't looking.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They waited a long time to be able to cut the ribbon on this place, and they had to wait just a little bit longer. The ceremony and celebration took extra time when that pesky ribbon just wouldn't cut. But they finally got it done. It's called the Hall of Champions, and champions are exactly what you'll see. The brand new 25,000 square foot facility is a shrine to everything collegiate.
We have all 3 divisions. There's 81 national championships, 22 sports, men's, women's, so we feel we've got it all.
There is historical data and current info about all NCAA member institutions, including all the major Michigan schools, of course.
There's a little bit of magic from the Magic Bird game, and there's things sprinkled throughout, but it's really not devoted to any one school.
There are 2 levels of exhibits, interactive displays. Hey, after all, it is the 21st century. There are theaters, multimedia presentations, even a gymnasium where you can try out equipment. It's a hands-on hall. Oh, by the way, Jim Schaefer, the guy you saw, the guy who runs this place, he hails from East Lansing. Who do you think he wants to win tomorrow night? And don't forget, if or when Michigan State beats the Badgers, we'll have a live 1-hour special prior to the national championship game on Monday. And don't forget, for all your Final Four happenings, check out our website at WWJ-TV.com. How about we finish this show with a champion here at the Hall of Champions, Mark Champion, the voice of the Spartans, next, as our Final Four special rolls on in Detroit 62 CBS.
It's going to be physical. You know, they play very hard. They do a great job of playing defense. So, you know, I think a lot of teams get frustrated by that, but you shouldn't get frustrated by that if you know going into the game what type of game it's going to be.
Back on Detroit 62 CBS at the Hall of Champions here in Indy, and I'm joined now by the guy whose name is all over this place. It's Mark NCAA.
No.
Mark Champion, who, of course, is the voice of the Spartans. And, Mark, can the Spartans do it? Can they actually beat Wisconsin 4 times in a year?
Well, why not? I mean, they beat him 3 times. I know it's difficult to do, but Wisconsin hasn't changed a whole lot. Michigan State hasn't changed a whole lot. I think lost in all of the talk about Wisconsin playing such aggressive defense is that Michigan State is playing better defense. They are actually giving up fewer points in the NCAA tournament and allowing their opponents to shoot just barely 40% from the field. So, you know, Michigan State is awfully good defensively as well.
I mean, Mark, Michigan State kind of dominated a couple of games against Wisconsin. Is there any reason to believe that they can't do that again tomorrow night?
Well, the first game in Madison is where they really dominated. But the last 2 meetings, Wisconsin played hard. They out-rebounded Michigan State and East Lansing.
Only 2 times this year?
That's right. And then in the Big Ten tournament, they came back and made a game of it when Michigan State got up on them in double digits. But I think the key is that Andre Hudson is playing so much better. It gives him a much better look inside. There's so many other options. And I think Mateen Cleaves wills this team to win. They just refuse to lose.
Well, Mark, you'll be on the call. Have you ever seen a flying wedge like this, though? This place is something else.
It kind of reminds me, that's the way Michigan State plays defense.
That's the defense right
at you, in waves.
Absolutely. Mark, thank you very much, and good luck in the game yourself tomorrow.
Thank you.
Should be fun. And don't forget, you don't want to miss a minute of it. Be here, 5:42 tomorrow promptly. Michigan State and Wisconsin in the Final Four. See if they can get to that national championship game. For everybody at Detroit 62 CBS, I'm Mark Wilson saying enjoy that one, and good night from Indianapolis.
The Final Four, live from the RCA Dome in Indianapolis. A 62 CBS exclusive big-time sporting event with our own Michigan State Spartans. Tomorrow night on Detroit 62 CBS, big-time TV.